Greetings and salutations. Okay, so we're back with Everlasting Summer. Last we had fallen asleep on a bus in wintertime heading to our college reunion. And then we woke up and it was the middle of summer and we are at this camp, maybe? It looks like a summer camp with pioneer Russian girls, and I butchered the Russian language a lot, and I will continue to butcher the Russian language a lot as I butcher my own language regularly. So, apologies once again to Russia and its lovely language. I can't read it or speak it, so it's a problem. But we were being taken to this cabin. We've encountered three or four girls. There was a yellow-haired girl, purple-haired girl, a younger girl with like the piggy tails, and then a girl that threw a rock at us, I think. So then that's four. We know 2 or 3 of their names, I'm not really sure. And I think we're being taken to the headmaster of the camp, or whatever they call it. I never went to summer camp, so I wouldn't know. But we just walked into the cabin, and we're going to see where it takes us. So let's see. I guess I should click it and then click load game. What? Yes. We entered the cabin. What? What happened? We entered the cabin. It looked like something similar to what I'd imagined: 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time it felt like home and cozy, although this room was almost the same state of disorder as my own flat. Okay. The girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25. And I don't know how old we are. We're in our 20s. I do know that much. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. Aren't we kind? At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. Oh, you're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga. I'm the camp leader. As determined last time, I will not be pronouncing her last name due to my inability to. I could try. The more I stare at it, the more I think I have an idea, but I'm not. I'm not here to humiliate myself in that manner. There are other ways that I can humiliate myself on the internet besides trying to read a foreign language to me. Nice to meet you. I'm Simeon. I decided to talk as if I wasn't surprised by anything that was going on. Apologies, I'm a bit croupy this morning. I just woke up. She came closer. We've been expecting you since early this morning. You've been expecting me? Yes, of course. And when does the next bus come? And why do you need it? Yeah, right. Why would I need it? Guess I shouldn't ask direct questions. The people here may react to them quite unlike how I'd prefer. And I doubt I'd get any answers. No reason, just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean. I wanted to send a letter of parents telling them that I'm fine. For some reason, I had a desperate idea if I played along, I would find something out. Oh, but your parents called just half an hour ago. Sent their regards to you. Now that's a surprise. So can I call them? Because I forgot to tell them something before I left. No. She gave me a sweet, spontaneous smile. Why not? We don't have phones here. But did they send a carrier pigeon? Then how could my parents make a call to here? I've just come back from the district's central town. I talked to them there. Ah, so that's how it is. And can I somehow get to that town? No. At least she's direct. Nobody around the bush here. You'll get nothing and like it. She kept the same smile. Why not? Because the next bus only comes in a week. I decided not to inquire how the troop leader managed to get there and back. I'd get no answer anyway. All this time, Slavia was standing next to me and seemed to find nothing odd in our conversation. Oh, we need to find you a uniform. We have absolutely no desire to put on pioneer shorts or to wear that ridiculous red neckerchief. Sorry, why couldn't I read that? I'm sorry, guys. I haven't had coffee. All I've had is water. It's just not working. However, wearing winter clothes in the summer isn't a great idea either. Right, thank you. I wonder if I'm the only one here who finds it strange that someone's wearing a coat and winter boots in such heat. Rightio, I'll be off then, and you can get yourself acquainted with the camp. Don't forget to come to dinner in the evening. Ooh, pardon. My allergies, being here instead of at home, the allergies are a little bit different from state to state, with the pollen and all that. So, my allergies and my asthma are displeased, so I apologize. Having said that, she walked out of the cabin. No, walked is not the right word. She rushed out. Ended up alone with Slavia. I must go too. Got things to do. Take a walk, look around the camp a bit. See you in the evening. If there's no threat or catch to this reality, if there is no threat or catch to this, then this reality, as embodied by Slavia, becomes more and more appealing. For the first time today, I realized that it was awfully hot here. Although obviously my winter clothes were to blame for that. I took off my coat and dropped it onto the bed. My pullover followed it. Now I was only wearing the shirt. That's much better. All I could do now was follow their advice and go look around the camp. There's a bra hanging on the bed there. That's lovely. I'll try to find something out in the meantime. My earbud got caught on my my chained earring. It was bothering me. Sorry. I'm gonna fix this one too. Might as well make a match. Oh, my deepest apologies. Passing the local residential district, I saw a pioneer guy coming my way. Oh, so we're not the only guy here. Okay. And it was really a pioneer guy, not a girl. Apparently there were men even in this kingdom of Amazons. Hello there. You're new here. You must be Simeon, right? And how do you... Everyone already knows. I want to be able to say first names, guys. I really do. Electronic? That's what you get. I'm sorry. If it's wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm Electronic, by the way. The real one. You can call me that. Electronic was a robot character appearing in a popular Soviet film and book series. He looked like an exact copy of a school kid called Sergei Chizkov? Sergei Chizkov? Sergei. It's gotta be Sergei. What I said the first time makes no sense. So ignore the first. In fact, editor that doesn't exist, edit that out. And I know they won't because I don't know how to edit yet. You get to hear that unfortunate mispronunciation. Electronic, the real one. Things were going from crazy to completely insane. Alright. Yo, Yana calls me cheesy. Cheesy? On toast with mushrooms? Oh, that sounds unappealing. Because my last name is Cheesekov. I see. Let me show you around. I accepted his offer as it would have taken much longer to get to know this place alone. Fine, let's go. We ended up at the square again, as if this place was all there is to this camp. Lena was sitting on one of the benches reading some book. Electra confidently approached her. Hello, Lena. Meet the new guy, Simeon. He started briskly. Hello. Well, you could say we've already met in a way. Yes. She looked away from the book for a moment, glanced at me, blushed, and went back to reading as if not noticing that we were still there. Alright, let's go on. I was at first surprised that meeting this girl was reduced to a couple of words. Then I thought it was better that way. Electronic's vigorous activity did not fit well with Lena's shyness. Let's go. Next, we came to a building, which I instantly identified as a canteen. And this here, I know, this is where you consume organic food. Yeah, something like that. On the canteen's porch stood the unfriendly girl who hit me on the back earlier. At the sight of her, my joking mood vanished in a blink of an eye. Really, now is not the best time to pull on this guy's leg, even though he is quite hilarious. First, I need to figure out what's going on here. Or what's what here, or at least where I am. Her, over there, that's Alyssa. Be careful around her. He spoke in a whisper. He seems quite concerned. Look at his face. Don't ever risk calling her Vacek? Vache? I don't know. It means two in Russian. The whole nickname sounds like exactly like it's a reference to a late anonymous image board, so maybe something like Reddit, which may or may not be anonymous depending on how you choose to post, or Tumblr. I don't know. I don't use those, so maybe something along those lines. I don't know. I'll have to look it up at some point. I'm not familiar. What did you say? What did you call me? She must have heard him. In the blink of an eye, Alyssa jumped down from the porch and dashed towards us. Alright, you'll manage from here onwards. Electronoc took to his heels. Okay. We were our first choice in like 2 hours. Well, we didn't do anything wrong. Like, we didn't say anything. We didn't even respond. She just got all touchy. So I don't feel the need to run. Hopefully they can use logic with her. She's got to have some logic in there. We're going to do nothing. Alyssa, running past, stopped for a moment and growled. I'll deal with you later. I didn't do anything, Alyssa. Leave me alone. You already hit me for no reason. I don't like you. Go away. Deal with me? What did I do wrong? I added a forced guilty smile to my words. But what am I guilty of? She made no reply and carried on chasing Electronic. See, no need for us to run. Looks like I'll have time to kill alone, waiting for dinner. I decided to go east. I'm glad we know directions. I don't. At least the direction where east would be in my world. How do I know which way's north? The northern star is not out, so I don't know. Okay, whatever, sir. Soon after, I found myself near a football pitch. A game was in full swing here. I guess watching it for a bit wouldn't do any harm. In my childhood and teen years, I was not a bad player myself, and even thought of going professional, but a few injuries in a row killed my desire to risk my health for the sake of uncertain chance in the game. Kids of different ages were running around at the pitch. I could see a boy about 10 and a girl of about 14 years old. A girl? Hey, that's Yolana. All right, so she plays football. What's so surprising? She seems a restless one after all. I was standing quite far from the pitch, but she still noticed me. Oh yes, the girl with the letters on her shirt that we call different letters than what I'm actually seeing. Because I'm guessing Romanized Russian and what Romanized English are, the letters are not the same. Unless it's the interpretation of what that stands for that we have chosen the letters for, of which I'm not certain. Yolana shouted, "Want to play?" I didn't know how to answer. On one hand, running around for 10 minutes is no big deal. On the other hand, any wrong move in my situation could be my final one. But in any case, my attire wasn't suitable for this weather. If I played in winter boots and warm jeans, I would sweat like a pig. And playing barefoot without jeans would be simply unethical. Maybe some other time, alright? I shouted in response and turned around and walked back. I was followed by Yolana's screams about my pants or about me being a pansy or something like that. Evening was falling, making me tired and empty after a day wasted with no real purpose. The town square again. I came back to the square and sat down on a bench and gave an exhausted sigh. I'd better sit here and wait for dinner. After all, it's easy to search for answers when you're not hungry. They do give food to the people here, right? I mean, they mentioned dinner, so I'm going to assume so. You know, it's curious how the simple human needs can break the will to ponder on things, to strive for something. For example, I feel hungry now, so I care much less about where I am or what is happening to me. Could great people also be affected by this? And in that case, how did Spartacus start the slave uprising in ancient times? I can only conclude that I am not a great person and that it does not really matter which mechanism I serve as a gear in, the society, the matrix, or a weird pioneer camp. My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of bells chiming from a loudspeaker on a light pole. It must be the dinner call. I headed toward the canteen. It was a good thing that I knew where that was. Olga was standing there, on the porch. I stopped and looked closely at her as if I was expecting something. She looked back at me for a while, but at last came closer. "Simeon, what are you waiting for? Come in already." Guess nothing bad can happen if I go with her. My stomach backed me up there. The two of us went inside. The canteen looked like a canteen. I had a chance to visit a factory canteen at some point in my life. This one was exactly the same, just maybe a bit cleaner and more modern. Metal chairs and tables, glazed tiles on the walls and on the floors, unsophisticated tableware with the occasional crack. Guess that's what a canteen in a pioneer camp is supposed to look like. "Simeon, wait a moment. We'll find you a place to sit." She looked around the place. I don't know how to say that. I haven't the faintest idea how to even begin pronouncing that. Vikovskia? Vikovskia. That's what we're going with. And I'm so sorry to anyone of that name. I don't think that my clientele or viewers or any of you are in Russia at this time, but should this reach you, I'm so sorry. We're going to go with Vikoskvia. Vikoskvia, hold it right there. Olga shouted at Alyssa, who was passing by. Oh, why? That's so much easier. She called her by her surname. What? What's up with your clothes? Yeah, Vikoskvia. Anything wrong with them? Indeed, her attire looked somewhat provocative. We discussed that earlier. Get your uniform nice and neat right now. All right. Alyssa got her shirt right and walked. She walked past and shooting me an unpleasant glare. So, where can we find a place for you to sit? There weren't a lot of free seats. Go over there next to Yolana. Yeah, it's fine. The food's already on the table, too. I had no other choice but to accept. Of course, there was the probability that the cutlets were poisoned with curare and the mashed potatoes generously seasoned with arsenic, and the glass filled with an excellent antifreeze instead of compote. In common Russian language, cutlet is minced meat, fried or baked in the shape of a ball or a cylinder, close to the American patties. Compote, this is compote, but I don't think it would be, is a drink made by boiling fresh or dried fruit in a large amount of water. Oh, yeah, compote in French. But it all looked tasty, so I had no chance to resist. Hey! What do you want? I replied rather rudely to Yolana, who was sitting next to me. Why didn't you play football with us? Because of my clothes, said I, pointing at the source of the problem. Oh, all right then, eat. However, there wasn't much left to eat. My cutlet was missing from the plate. Only she could have done it. No, more precisely, none but Yolana could have done it. Give me back my cutlet. In a big family, you snooze, you lose. It can cost you a cutlet if you're careless. Give it back, I'm telling you. We'll attempt to take it. I looked at her menacingly and was about to reach out my hand. See, I don't have it. And indeed, Yolana's plate was empty. It seemed that this little girl eats as fast as she steals someone's cutlets. Take it easy. We'll work something out now. She grabbed my plate and ran off. There was no point in following her. If they wanted to poison me here, they could have done it in a much easier way. About a minute later, Yolana returned and handed me a plate with a steaming hot cutlet on it. Here's one for the starving. Thanks. That was all I could say. I was so hungry that my suspicions were gone in a flash. I picked up the cutlet with my fork and... What the... She put a bug under my food. Ew. Some bug. No, not a bug. An insect. What's the difference? I wouldn't know, whatever. It's got legs and it's wiggling. The plate fell to the floor and broke into pieces. The chair hit hard on my leg while falling. I've disliked insects since I was a child. When these creepy crawlers appear on my plate, that's way too much. Little... Yolana seemed ready for such a twist and was already at the door, laughing as if she'd just heard a fresh stand-up comedy joke. I dashed after her. We ran out to the canteen. We were just a few dozen meters apart, I felt I would catch the girl easily. We ran through the square, past the club's house, and ran onto the forest path. I started to gasp for breath. I should have quit smoking, I guess. Oh, we're a smoker. That's unpleasant. My poor asthmatic lungs couldn't handle such. Delissa passed out of sight on the next turn. It can't be true that she managed to get away from me. It simply can't. I stopped and tried to catch my breath. Night was falling. Looks like I'm lost. It's a bad idea to stay in the woods at night. Better get back to camp. However, I had absolutely no clue which way to go. Well, gotta choose a random path. Don't make me choose. I wandered for quite some time in the forest and even thought of crying for help, but finally I saw the camp's fence beyond the trees. Everything fell back into place. The bus was gone, I mumbled quietly. On the one hand, there was nothing strange about that. The buses couldn't have stayed there forever. On the other hand, it meant there was someone driving, because buses do not drive themselves. Or do they? This world seemed too normal, but every event had at least two explanations for it. An ordinary, real, everyday explanation, and a surreal one. Certainly the driver could have just been off for a snack, and I left too soon, and that's why. In any case, this is not the place for me. Whether that bus drives itself or was probably an important question, but it was much more important to know how I'd got here in the first place, and where here was. The fields and the woods stretching towards the horizon had no answers. There was nothing familiar about them. A strange, odd, and alien world. However, at the same time, it was absolutely not frightening. Either my self-preservation instincts decided to resign from its job, or all this running around the camp and the local pioneers had lulled me so much with their carefree normality that I was simply forgetting what had happened to me just a couple of hours ago. Although I probably just had no strength left to worry. All I wanted was some peace, calmness. I wanted to just have a break from it all, and only after that would I continue looking for answers, ready and reloaded. However, that would be some time later. And what about now? Can I allow myself to relax? Itchy hand. Why is my hand itchy? It got completely dark. And in any case, it was much better to spend the night in the camp. I was about to head back when someone came up slightly from behind. Hello, what are you doing here so late? It was Slavana standing before me. Or Slavia, sorry. I was surprised that I jumped. So you didn't catch Yelena, did you? She smiled. I nodded disappointedly and sighed. No wonder. No one ever has. Yeah, she's a real rocket girl. She could have found a better use of her energy than looking for adventures. You must be hungry. You didn't manage to have dinner after all. Indeed, I completely forgotten about my hunger, but after these words of hers, my stomach drew its attention to itself by giving a treacherous rumble. Slavia smiled. Let's go then. What, is the canteen still open? It's all right. I have the keys. The keys? Yes, I have keys to all the facilities in this camp. How come? Well, I'm something like the camp's leader abide here. Aid. I'm dyslexic. It's aid. I see. Well, let's go. It was an offer you can't refuse. When we reached the square, Slavia stopped in her tracks. Excuse me, I should warn my roommates that I'll be late. She's so punctual herself that she'll be worried otherwise. You go on to the canteen and I'll come in a minute, all right? All right. I did not expect to find somebody aside from myself there at such a late hour. And that somebody was apparently trying hopelessly to open the door. Without any secret thoughts, I walked up onto the porch. The lockpicker turned out to be Alyssa. I should have probably kept off and waited. She looked at me intently for a while and then said, "Don't just stand there, give me a hand or something." My nose is itchy. Meaning, help me open the door. Why are you so hateful? Why? Because I want some buns and kefir. Kefir? I say kefir. Dinner wasn't big enough. Is it really a good idea? Aren't you hungry yourself, huh? Yolanda didn't let you have a normal dinner, did she? She smiled sarcastically. It's true, she didn't. The edge of my nose is so itchy. It's fine. Slavia will come now and... What? Guess I shouldn't have said that. I'm off then. And you'll pay for this. What did I do? Why is everything my fault? I have done nothing. You owe me 2 already. No, I have done nothing. I owe you nothing. I didn't call you a name. The other kid didn't either. You're just hateful. You hit me, and now you're the one trying to break into the canteen. How are any of these my problems? I do not need to pay ramification. Having said that, Alyssa disappeared into the night. And what was the first one? Slavia didn't keep me waiting too long. Is everything all right? Yeah, why are you asking? No reason. It's nothing. It would be better if I didn't tell her about Alyssa. Everything's fine. I said that and immediately heard a note of dishonesty in my words. Shall we go? As for Slavia, she seemed not to have noticed anything, or at least she was pretending she hadn't. We entered the canteen. Wait a bit, I'll go get something. I sat down on a chair and obediently waited for my savior. My dinner was simple, a few buns and a glass of kefir. I like kefir. No wonder, I bet Hungry Pioneers finished everything off. However, even that was far better than most of my usual diets. Slavia sat across the table and looked at me while I was eating. Is there something on my face? No, just... She smiled. So how did you like your first day at camp? Well, I don't really know. It's a silly question to ask someone who suddenly found himself in a different reality, whether he liked the food in the canteen, the camp leader, or his assigned hut. It's alright, he'll get used to it soon. Slavia stared out the window dreamily. Frankly speaking, I have no desire to get used to such things. But as for her, she doesn't know, or at least she wants me to think that she doesn't. Well, all in all, it's nice here. I had to somehow break the awkward silence. Do you think so? She asked without any interest. Yeah, this place is so... I want to say retro, but I managed to hold that back. After all, it was retro to me, but what about them? It might be the only kind of life they know. If the term life was applicable here at all. So how? She watched me closely, as if something important depended on my answer. Well, I don't know. Lovely? Yeah, it's lovely here. I guess you're right. She smiled again. It's very good that you think so. What if I didn't? That sounds a little bit ominous. Why? Well, not everybody likes it here. And what about you? Me? Yeah, I love it here. It's great. That you don't need to worry about what other people think. No, I don't really worry. Slavia laughed. This conversation seemed to be leading me as far astray from where I wanted to get to. And you're worried yourself. Really? Why do you say so? Well, when someone is chewing so intensely... I'm sorry. It's okay. I couldn't bring myself to be more cautious around this girl. But why her in particular? Why not any other local inhabitants? Everyone of them looked completely normal to me. Precisely normal. So normal it sends chills down my spine into my marrow. Normal, like a neighbor with a power drill in one hand and a subwoofer in the other. That seems normal. Not like a passenger you can often meet in a subway or a public transport. Not like a coworker at the next table in an open plan office. And not even like a friend who only differs from other humans in his constant insistence. All of them looked normal, as I would expect them to be, with their own downsides, but without any superpowers. What? And Slavia was also cute. I glanced at her softly, not knowing what to say. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the camp, but was ran off my feet. I didn't miss anything all on my own, I guess. Are you sure you haven't missed anything at all? She smiled so brightly that I had to drop my eyes in confusion. Well, how would I know? It's my first day here. Okay, and what have you seen so far? I've seen the square, this canteen, the football field, and what about the beach? Just from afar. You really should go there. Let's do it together. Yeah, okay, we will. Her naturalness started to scare me, but then I thought, what if everything happens here as supposed to be, and this world looks strange only to me, while for them it's normal? Maybe I was thrown into the past? Yes, that would explain a lot. Can I ask a stupid question? Let's ask what year it is. No. Slavia smiled and stood from the table. It's late. Can you find the way to Olga by yourself? Of course I can, but why should I go there? She'll settle you with someone. What for? Probably this question seems stupid because she burst into good-natured laughter. You need to sleep somewhere, right? That makes sense. Fine. I'll be off then. Good night. Night. It's strange that she left in such a hurry. A bundle of keys left in the door lock caught my attention. I was going to catch up with Slavia, but where does she live? And knocking on every door during the middle of the night didn't sound like a bright idea. So every time I tried to ask a question of weighted nature, like that would bring some sort of clarity to what's going on, they seem to tell me no. Like when I asked about calling my parents, there was a no. When I asked about going to town, there was a no. And with very little explanation. Pardon. Which leads me to believe that they know that I don't know what's going on. And they don't want me to know. For reason or reasons unseen. All the same, I am curious. Should we take or leave the keys? I would take them because people like Alyssa running about, I would take them, and then when I go to Olga, I'll give Olga the keys. I better take them. I'll give them back tomorrow because who knows what might happen here at night. Or I'll just keep them. Such thoughts gave me chills. It's me who needs to be careful here in the first place. The night, though dark, wasn't silent at all. One could hear chirping crickets, the song of the night birds, and rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and go to the leader's cabin has appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of the unknown bronze builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. Did I read that right? In my brain, I feel like I read that wrong. Like I didn't read communism right. I feel like I read it some other way. I don't know, guys. I need coffee. After this recording, I'll be fetching me a cuppa. I sat on the bench and started to recall everything that happened. That was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much brighter than near the canteen. The tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl, reading a book. Lena. I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only new person I had met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she even jumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. She blushed and stared at the book again. So what are you reading? On the cover was written, Gone with the Wind. A good book. Thanks. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think such literature suits her very well. I don't think I've read Gone with the Wind. I may have seen the film when I was young. I don't remember. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Well, if I'm bothering you... No. I hear that a lot. She answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? And really, why? Maybe just because I was so very tired and having company is better than being alone. And maybe I wanted to try and find something out from her. I carefully examined Lena, like a creeper. But no, I doubt that. Well, I don't know. Am I not allowed to? Feel free. But if I'm bothering you... No, you're not. Simeon reminds me of me. I worry that I bother people all the time. I fear that I am a nuisance. I can leave, just say, everything's all right. Okay then. I sat on the end of the bench carefully. After such an intense talk, staying here was the last thing I wanted, but it wouldn't be nice to just stand up and leave. An intense talk? If that's an intense... Well, we don't have a lot of social interaction. At least he doesn't. So I guess that would be sort of an intense talk for him. I don't know. I guess it could have been uncomfortable. That didn't really go well, huh? Lena hasn't answered anything. It seems I've made a fool out of myself. I'm good at that. I bet if Yolana was here, she'd have a good laugh at me. Do you enjoy being here? I recalled that Slavia's question and thought it would be good to start up a conversation. She's reading a book. Leave her alone. If you want to sit there, but let the girl read her book. I don't like when people talk to me when I'm trying to read a book. Yes. She smiled slightly. I guess I like it too. And it definitely wasn't very sociable. And probably can't carry a meaningless conversation as easily as Slavia. But there was something about her that attracted attention. It's the purple hair. Like a momentary glimpse of a reflection in a glass on a rainy autumn evening, which makes you turn around and stare into darkness, searching for something that you saw out of the corner of your eye. What are these euphemisms? Where do they come from? Of course, you weren't able to distinguish or understand what it was, but still, it felt so tempting. Lena was still reading the book without paying any attention to my presence, and I had no intention of asking her anything about this camp or this world in general. Beautiful night. Yes. How in the world would you start a conversation with her? Not when she's reading a book. It's late. I have to go. Yes, it's quite late. Good night. Night. There's something strange about this girl. Because she's sitting on a bench reading a book and you're interrupting? Sounds like a normal girl to me. At first glance, she's a typically shy and a modest pioneer girl, but the mystery of Lena took its own place in this massive list of mysteries about this camp, which I had to start to put together in my head. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good evening with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Simeon. You're quite late. Yeah, I went for a walk to look around the camp. All right. You'll be sleeping here. She pointed her fingers to one of the beds. Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah? Is something wrong? We're out of free cabins anyway. The cabin leader smiled, but I rather think that was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There was a clear emphasis on the word decent. Yep, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind it, Mademoiselle? I've never seen that word written out, but I can only imagine that's what that is. She looked at me oddly, with surprise and some offense in her eyes. A pioneer should respect their elders, Olga said strictly. Of course he should. No one argues with that. I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Out of such a gaze, even mithril, forged by the best dwarves masters from the deepest dungeons, would melt. Should I what? What's up, Toots? Annoyance and lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address adults appropriately. Yes, of course, there are a lot of strange things here. But this girl was just a couple years older than me, or maybe even younger. I decided not to argue. While just a few minutes ago I would never have called her an adult, I have to admit that she was also given a strong character. And in any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That's how a decent, proper pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time to sleep. Honestly speaking, I was becoming neither decent nor an indecent pioneer. Just yesterday, I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. But do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, we'll have to make you. This is the motto Olga was probably going to use. I climbed into bed and closed my eyes, only to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully, as if my brain had started a night shift, and they seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. A bus flew through my mind. And the square with the monument, the canteen full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Olya, or Yolana, I don't know, I can't read, Slavia, Lena, and even recalling Alyssa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. What if I'm here for good? Day 2. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to save, and we're gonna call it here. If it loads up, but there we go. I was having a dream, but we'll dream later. I think this will be the save. Okay, we're gonna hit the menu button. Save game. Save. Save game. Yes. Okay, so we're on day 2. I wonder, we've not seen our reflection. And with Olga being so adamant about respecting an adult, part of me wonders if we are a youth or an adolescent. Because, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We got a little handle on things a little bit more today than we did last time. We've made it through our first day. We're learning some things about the camp. We're getting there. But until next time, I hope you enjoy yourselves.